In the hushed stillness of a desert night, Dr. Aris Thorne often found himself adrift in a recurring dream. Strange, ethereal lights danced across the vast, ink-black canvas of the Nevada sky, swirling with an impossible grace that defied all known physics. He'd wake with a jolt, the image seared into his mind, an unsettling echo of a truth just beyond his grasp. One crisp morning, a cryptic message materialized in his inbox, untraceable yet eerily precise. It contained only a series of alphanumeric characters, a familiar yet deeply buried reference to his deceased father's classified research. A chill snaked down Aris's spine. The dream, the message, they were converging. Aris Thorne, a brilliant astrophysicist, carried the heavy mantle of his father's mysterious disappearance years ago. Dr. Thorne had vanished without a trace, the whispers suggesting a connection to a top-secret government project, a shadow that had long eclipsed Aris's life. He was a man of logic and reason, yet the emotional void left by his father's absence rendered him withdrawn, perpetually searching for answers. This message, this impossible link to the past, ignited a fierce resolve within him. He sought not just to unravel the enigma of the message, but to finally unearth the truth about his father's fate. The desolate landscape of rural Nevada stretched endlessly, a tableau of sun-baked earth and ancient rock formations. It was a land steeped in myth, where whispers of a forbidden zone, the infamous Area 51, permeated local folklore. These hushed tales, often dismissed as outlandish conspiracy theories, had always resonated with Aris, fueling a long-held suspicion that something extraordinary and deeply hidden lay beneath the desert's stoic surface. He knew his father had been drawn to this very wilderness, chasing shadows that others refused to see. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and a son's longing, Aris delved into his father's old belongings. Tucked away in a forgotten box, he discovered a leather-bound journal, its pages filled with his father's meticulous handwriting. It detailed coded observations of anomalous aerial phenomena near Groom Lake, predating any official acknowledgement of Area 51's existence. The entries spoke of impossible speeds, silent maneuvers, and lights that defied explanation. Most chillingly, the journal hinted at a covert operation, a Project Nightingale, and a looming, unspecified threat. The realization struck Aris with the force of a physical blow. His father hadn't merely vanished. He had stumbled upon something profound and dangerous. Aris attempted to cross-reference his father's cryptic notes with what little declassified government documentation he could access. The results were frustratingly consistent: discrepancies, heavily redacted files, and gaping holes in the official narrative. It was a deliberate cover-up, a meticulously crafted illusion. The feeling that he was being watched intensified, a prickling sensation on the back of his neck, the subtle unease of unseen eyes. While investigating a remote area specifically mentioned in the journal, a barren stretch of land bordering the exclusion zone, a high-pitched whine pierced the silence. A sleek black surveillance drone, silent as a hawk until that moment, swooped low overhead. Aris scrambled for cover, narrowly escaping its unseen gaze. The incident solidified his conviction. He was a target, and his investigation was hitting dangerously close to home. In a desperate gambit, Aris reached out to Evelyn Reed, an old family friend and a former colleague of his father, now working for a shadowy government agency. She initially offered a glimmer of hope, her voice calm and reassuring, but her answers were evasive, her explanations thin, and her sudden disappearance after their brief clandestine meeting planted seeds of gnawing doubt. Had he misjudged her? Was she truly helping, or merely playing a part in a larger, more sinister drama? Back in his father's journal, a complex coded message, initially overlooked, now demanded his attention. After hours of painstaking decryption, it led him to an abandoned research facility, deep within the desolate heart of the Nevada desert. The air inside was thick with dust and the metallic scent of decay. A hidden compartment, cleverly concealed behind a rusted panel, yielded its secrets, a partial data drive and a chilling unfinished recording of his father's voice. The words were strained, laced with a desperate urgency, hinting at a non-human intelligence and a betrayal from within. The recording abruptly cut off with a frantic whisper about them coming, followed by a metallic clang that echoed ominously in the silent facility. Eris, his heart pounding, frantically tried to recover more data from the corrupted drive. But then the distinct sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, approached from the main entrance. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The heavy footsteps grew louder, each thud a hammer blow against Eris Thorne's rapidly beating heart. He clutched the partially recovered data drive, its cool metal a stark contrast to the sudden clamminess of his palms. Instinct took over. He darted through a narrow service tunnel, a forgotten artery of the abandoned facility, just as a beam of tactical light sliced through the main chamber. The Black Ops team, a silent, efficient unit, swept through the derelict rooms, their weapons poised, missing him by mere seconds. He pressed himself against the grimy wall, listening to their hushed, authoritative voices, a chilling symphony of pursuit. Once their methodical search had moved deeper into the complex, Eris emerged, heart still hammering, and melted into the vast, indifferent desert night. Days later, back in the relative safety of his secluded motel room, a new contact materialized. It was Sarah Chen, her face appearing on his laptop screen, framed by a defiant glint in her eyes. "Dr. Thorne, I know this sounds insane," she began, her voice raspy, "but I've been following your father's work for years. Project Nightingale. I believe he was involved." Sarah, a once respected investigative journalist, now carried the heavy burden of a disgraced reputation, her career derailed by relentless pursuit of unverified government conspiracies. But her conviction was palpable. She had been independently researching Project Nightingale, her obsession fueled by whispers and fragmented leaks. She believed Eris's father had been at its heart. Her motivation was clear: exposing the truth, regaining her shattered credibility, and perhaps finding a measure of justice for those silenced by the shadows. Eris, wary and guarded, listened intently. He had learned to trust no one, especially those connected to the labyrinthine world of government secrets. Yet Sarah's detailed knowledge of Project Nightingale and her unwavering belief in his father's involvement resonated deeply. He realized her resources, her network of informants, and her sheer tenacity could be invaluable. They formed an uneasy alliance, a fragile bond forged in mutual suspicion, but cemented by a shared, desperate hunger for answers. Eris sought to understand his father's legacy, while Sarah yearned to rip the veil from a decades-long cover-up. The recovered data drive, a digital fragment of his father's final work, became their immediate focus. Though corrupted, it yielded tantalizing glimpses into the past. Eris painstakingly pieced together fragments of information: advanced propulsion schematics that defied known physics, and cryptic references to Element 115, a substance long dismissed as the stuff of science fiction, yet eerily consistent with the controversial claims of a man named Bob Lazar. His father hadn't just observed; he had studied, understood, and perhaps even reverse-engineered. Sarah, leveraging her underground network, unearthed a more sinister layer of the conspiracy. Project Nightingale, she revealed, wasn't merely about reverse-engineering alien technology. It was an ambitious, reckless attempt to establish direct communication with the non-human intelligence, a project that, according to her intel, had gone catastrophically wrong. The implication sent a shiver down Eris's spine. As Eris delved deeper into his father's journal, he discovered something unexpected. Tucked between scientific observations were deeply personal letters addressed to his mother, never sent. In them, his father expressed profound fear, regret, and a chilling, coded warning about a false prophet within the project, someone whose ambition masked a dangerous agenda. Through Sarah's contacts, a horrifying truth began to emerge. Evidence linking Evelyn Reed, the family friend who had offered Eris a fleeting, false hope, to a powerful, secretive faction within the government was undeniable. She was not just protecting classified information, she was actively manipulating events, orchestrating the cover-up, and silencing those who questioned Project Nightingale. Evelyn, the betrayal from within, had a twisted sense of patriotism, a belief that humanity was too fragile for the truth, and a fear of global panic that drove her ruthless actions. The pursuit intensified. Eris and Sarah became ghosts, constantly moving, relentlessly pursued by Evelyn's operatives. They knew Evelyn wasn't merely guarding secrets. She was preventing something far more profound from emerging. Eris grappled with the unsettling possibility that his father might have been involved in something truly dangerous, his legacy tainted. Sarah, ever the pragmatist, pushed him to confront the unsettling thought that the non-human intelligence might not be benevolent, that their intentions could be far from benign. Then a breakthrough. Sarah intercepted a coded transmission, a burst of data from Evelyn. It revealed a chilling plan. Evelyn intended to activate a dormant communication array at a remote, highly secure facility, a deeper, more clandestine layer of Area 51, known only as S4. The transmission spoke of a final phase, and most ominously, a cosmic deadline. Time was running out. The cosmic deadline echoed in Eris Thorne's mind, a chilling countdown to an unknown event. He and Sarah Chen, huddled in a rented RV miles from S4, knew their window of opportunity was closing. Their fragmented data, a jigsaw puzzle of his father's final work, pointed to a catastrophic misinterpretation by Evelyn Reed. They had to infiltrate S4, not just to expose the truth, but to prevent Evelyn from triggering a disaster. Their plan was desperate. Sarah, utilizing her remaining journalistic contacts, leaked carefully curated snippets of classified information, hinting at a major government cover-up related to anomalous aerial phenomena near Groom Lake. The resulting media frenzy, a controlled explosion of speculation and outrage, would create the perfect diversion. While the Black Ops team scrambled to contain the public outcry and secure less critical perimeters, Eris would make his move. Under the cloak of a moonless night, Eris navigated the treacherous desert terrain, a ghost slipping past the distracted patrols. The sheer scale of S4 was staggering, a subterranean fortress burrowed deep beneath the Nevada sands. He bypassed layers of sophisticated security, each step guided by his father's meticulously detailed, albeit coded journal entries. The facility hummed with a low, almost sentient energy. Finally, he reached the command center, a vast chamber bathed in the eerie glow of holographic displays. There, Evelyn Reed stood, her face etched with a grim determination, her fingers hovering over a console. "Evelyn," Eris's voice cut through the sterile silence, startling her. She turned, her eyes narrowing, a complex mixture of surprise and cold resolve. "Eris, I knew you'd come. You're just like your father, always meddling." "My father was trying to save lives, Evelyn, not gamble with them," Eris countered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. Evelyn scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. "Save lives. He was a fool, Eris. He believed their lies. Humanity isn't ready for direct contact. It would lead to chaos, destruction. I am protecting us, even from ourselves." Her motivations, twisted by fear and a warped sense of patriotism, were laid bare. She genuinely believed she was the last bastion against global panic, the sole guardian of humanity's fragile peace. Eris ignored her, his eyes scanning the holographic displays. He saw it then, a representation of the communication array, glowing with an ominous power. He knew he had to reach it to prevent her fatal mistake. He darted past her, surprising her with his agility. Alarms blared, a piercing shriek that echoed through the cavernous chamber. Evelyn reacted swiftly, but Eris, fueled by a desperate urgency, was faster. He bypassed the last security protocols, reaching the heart of the array. There, projected in shimmering light, were his father's final research logs. Eris's breath hitched. They confirmed everything. The non-human intelligence wasn't hostile. They were attempting to warn humanity of an impending cosmic event, a cataclysmic threat far beyond their comprehension. Evelyn, blinded by her own fear and misinterpretations, had seen their warnings as aggression, their attempts at communication as an invasion. His father had been trying to prevent Evelyn from activating the array prematurely, fearing it would send a distorted, aggressive message or worse, open a portal to something truly uncontrollable. Dr. Thorne hadn't been silenced for betrayal, but for trying to save them all. A wave of understanding, tinged with profound sorrow, washed over Eris. His father's true purpose became crystal clear. He located the failsafe, meticulously designed by his father, a hidden protocol to disrupt the activation sequence. As he initiated it, Evelyn, her face contorted in a mask of desperation, lunged at him, attempting to override his actions. A frantic struggle ensued, their bodies colliding amidst the flashing lights and blaring alarms. Eris, with a final surge of strength, completed the failsafe. The array overloaded, emitting a blinding flash of light that temporarily crippled S4, a silent explosion of energy visible for miles across the desolate Nevada landscape. Chaos erupted. Eris, disoriented but alive, found Sarah waiting just outside the facility's compromised perimeter. They escaped amidst the confusion, leaving behind a facility in disarray and a world left to wonder about the inexplicable flash. Sarah, having witnessed the truth firsthand, now possessed irrefutable evidence. Aris, though still grieving the loss of his father, had achieved a profound form of redemption for his legacy. Evelyn was subsequently apprehended, but the shadowy faction she represented remained, their influence a lingering threat. The immediate danger was averted, yet the non-human intelligence's warning persisted, the cosmic deadline still approaching. Eris, his purpose now clear, dedicated himself to deciphering the remaining data, to understanding the true nature of the cosmic warning, and to preparing humanity for what lay ahead. As he gazed up at the vast, star-strewn canvas of the night sky, a single faint light blinked in the immense darkness, a silent promise, or perhaps a new beginning.